Hi, my name is Steinberg. Welcome to my website and my blog. I am a writer here at Penn State, and this week I had a writing workshop for one of my short stories, so I thought that I would take you through the process of workshopping and revising my story based on the feedback I got. So first I thought I'd give you a little background on my story. My short story, which is about 8 pages, is called Of the Spangled Mind, which is a reference to Sappho's Ode to Aphrodite. The main quote that I revolve the title around is Deathless Aphrodite of the Spangled Mind, which basically means a mind that is very disturbed but also very gilded and beautiful. And that's a lot of what my story is about. It's about the commodification of beauty. In this story, we follow Alice, who is a model in LA, who gets invested in the disappearance of the planet Venus after she took a picture of it on her dad's old camera. And this camera has followed her around in her life, especially because it was what her father took a picture of her mother on, and they both later left her. Her father leaving her mother for a younger woman, and her mother ending up dying. And this camera kind of represents the way that in our society the beauty of women is commodified through pictures, and that can cause kind of a disappearance of the self, just like how Venus disappeared. And you'll see if you read the story, which I will link below, that it kind of causes her to disappear in her modeling job. So let's get into it. So in my creative writing class where I presented this story, we do this thing called workshop letters, where basically everyone will write the author of the story that we're peer reviewing that day a letter that basically talks about what they liked and didn't like about the story, and what could be fixed, their ideas of what might be a good idea for the story. Now I'm going to start with my professor's feedback. This is the letter that he wrote me. So in this letter, he first started by saying the details of the story that he liked, which I really appreciate. He then listed some questions here, and then he also listed some of the sentences and phrases that he liked, which is very helpful to me. And then he has this last paragraph here, which basically says that he really liked it, but he was confused about the meaning, which is something that I got in a lot of my feedback from the class. Okay, so this next letter is from one of my classmates. He also touches on the details that he liked in my story, and then he comments on how he thought that the ending was a bit uncorrelated with the rest of the story. But he said that maybe the information that I added at the end, which was a lot of flashback information about the main character's family, could have been drip-fed throughout the story rather than put in full, which I really appreciate that advice because I was thinking of doing that as well. So this is another letter from one of my classmates. He thought that I should have slowed down a little more and gave more description of specifically the scene that shows the character's eating disorder, and that I should have delved into her mind a little bit, which I did consider doing, but I wanted to have a switch to the next scene that was a little faster. So if I were to revise it in this way, I would probably add on a part rather than change that initial part. So I'm here on my Google document for my story now, and I'm just going to go over the parts that I want to revise based off the letters, thinking that I would expand this paragraph. And what I like to do when I'm about to revise is I like to go ahead and highlight the parts that I want to revise so that I know to come back to them. And here I'm going to do the same thing with this last flashback part, which I was told didn't exactly mesh with the rest of the story, which I agree with. And what I think I will do is separate these little paragraphs here and infiltrate them throughout the story to make more of a correlated effect. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I really like reading feedback about my stories and revising accordingly, so I hope that if that's something that you're also interested, that this could have helped you understand a little more of my process as a writer, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for checking out my website and my blog. Bye!